Right, good afternoon, everybody. It's Alan Ruddock here from Link Business. I am recording this session and I have pressed record. So if you don't want to be recorded or don't want to be involved in a session that's recorded, please leave now. But otherwise, I will make the recording available to everybody via my Linked Business YouTube channel a little later today, hopefully, or at least once the recording has processed. So welcome to the LinkedIn Ladder of Awareness, where we're going to talk about how to move your prospects and clients from being unaware of a need right the way up to being ready to buy, all using LinkedIn. I know a lot of people on the call, but just in case you're not familiar with my background, here's a little bit about why I think it's worthwhile listening to me. If you disagree, feel free to leave. My original background was in project and program management, working for a variety of multinational companies, particularly in the financial services industry. I got made redundant for a second time in 2003 and set up a consulting business with a former colleague, Transformers Consulting. We were good project and program managers, so we thought people would come and buy us, but we had no idea how to run a business or how to market a business. So it was a real roller coaster ride for the next 7 years as we went through, struggling to find a client, then doing great work for the client, then thinking, oh, we need another client now, what's going on? So it was a real challenge. We got through the financial crisis, but my business partner decided he wanted to go back to a more stable life and became the life safety manager at Merrill Lynch Bank of America. So I closed that company down and set up another company, another consultancy, Arrow Management, and I decided that I really need to learn how to run and market a business properly. So I joined various mastermind groups and marketing groups. And basically, the core messages I learned were to create content. So I started creating valuable content like these guides, a book, and I put out blogs and what have you. And then using Twitter in conjunction with LinkedIn, I grew that into a 6-figure business with the majority of my work coming through LinkedIn and the connections that I made on LinkedIn and kept in touch with on LinkedIn. So I really found out how to use LinkedIn effectively. And decided I needed to get away from consulting. I was doing lots of weekly commutes to all sorts of places, some as glamorous as Bradford, some even more glamorous like Edinburgh, Dublin, Oslo, places like that. But after a couple of health scares, decided I really wanted to get away from that. So started looking into other businesses. During this time, I helped my ex-wife set up and then run and then sell a domiciliary care business. When we got into property to provide for our future. So we set up a couple of property businesses, one to hold some buy-to-let properties and one to do development work. And we also set up and ran a motorhome hire business. But then my wife decided she didn't want to be married anymore 3.5 years ago. So all of these businesses are either closed or in the process of being closed down. And I now focus on the Guildford Business Hub, which until lockdown met weekly, provided education support to local businesses in the Guildford area. That's in hibernation at the moment. I'm still working with a few members on a one-to-one basis to support them. And I focus more on my business coaching and LinkedIn coaching through the Link Business, and latterly the Linked Business Mastermind group. I'll tell you more about that later. But effectively, I use LinkedIn all the time to find clients, and I use LinkedIn all the time to help my clients. So why bother with LinkedIn? Why should you be really worried about using LinkedIn? It's another social media platform. There are so many of them out there. Why bother with LinkedIn? Well, if you Google somebody, if you Google me, the second thing at least you'll come up and find is my LinkedIn profile. I Googled a couple of my core connections. Lorraine, the first two links were to her, directly to her website, and then the third one was her LinkedIn profile. John, another of my good friends and connections, his second return on his LinkedIn, his Google search was his LinkedIn profile. So if you meet somebody or you're going to meet somebody virtually or in real life, or if you're going to do business with somebody, they are going to check you out. And the place they're going to use to check you out is LinkedIn. So you need to have a presence on LinkedIn. It really is the place where you will get checked out. And if people find that you haven't got a LinkedIn profile, that just puts a question mark in their mind. Why haven't you got a LinkedIn profile? Why are you not on this LinkedIn platform that is the most used and trusted platform in business, with over 30 million users in the UK and 740 million users worldwide? Why aren't you on it if you're in business and being serious? So what is it? It's all about trust. A survey was done a while back by LinkedIn themselves, and they found that people trusted what they came across on LinkedIn 72% of the time, compared with 37% for Facebook and 30% for Twitter. I would suspect that that difference has gone up significantly over lockdown with all the hiatus, and Twitter is certainly reducing in credibility with Trump and co messing about on it. So it's all about trust. And why people trust LinkedIn, it's because of the structure of the profile. You get to see who you are going to be dealing with, because you should have a great picture on your LinkedIn profile. It's got all about your experience, so what you do for a living. The hub is on there, my business is on my profile. You can see what people are doing. You get to see their education, and all more details about them. You get to see their recommendations from their clients, and you get to see their activity, what they're doing on the platform. All of that takes a lot of effort if you're going to try and fake something on LinkedIn. Yeah, it takes an awful lot of effort to fake it on LinkedIn, credibly. So if you get a connection request from somebody and you click through to their profile and there's virtually nothing on the profile, that's a big question mark. Are they serious? Are they real even? I did have a connection request once from a US Army general. And his claim to fame was he was the only US Army general to hold a staff position in the German Army. This is not World War II, this is now. And his profile had just that on it, a picture of him and that information. That was the totality of his profile. So I screen scraped the picture and did a search on Google for that image. And sure enough, that image came up. It was a generally available image of the real general on LinkedIn, on the web. And yes, he's a US Army general, and he was holding a staff position in the German Army. But there was no way on earth that he was actually looking to connect with me. This was a fake profile and was going to be used to try and stitch me up. So I alerted LinkedIn, and the profile was taken down. So it's really, really hard to fake things on LinkedIn, because people will look behind that initial profile link and look at their profile, and it's really hard to fake that credibly. So that's why LinkedIn is such a trusted source. So I'd just like to bust a few myths around LinkedIn as well, because there are a few out there. And the first is this all-star profile myth. If you go to your own profile and you scroll down a little bit, it'll give you your dashboard. And on your dashboard, you may well have this sort of symbol on the right-hand side saying you've got an all-star profile. If you haven't got that, it will probably have some hints there about things you need to do to get an all-star profile. Now, I've talked to many people using LinkedIn, and they say, no, I don't bother with LinkedIn because I've got an all-star profile, but I've never got anything from it. Well, the reason for that is the all-star profile doesn't mean you have a great profile. It's in fact based purely on quantity, not quality. It's based on how many boxes have you filled in and amongst all of the boxes that are available on LinkedIn. And if you get to a certain percentage and you've filled in some key ones, you'll get an all-star profile. It's not any sign that you've got a quality profile at all. And that's why within the LinkedIn business community, we're actually developing an assessment tool to create a view of whether you've got a real star profile, to say that and that's all around your activity as well as the quality of the content you've got on there. And that's something for another time we can talk about another time. So all-star profiles are a myth. It's pretty useless if you've got that red coming up on your profile. It's not that important. So let's forget about that. Myth number 2 is that LinkedIn's only for recruitment. Yes, LinkedIn does derive most of its revenue from recruitment. It does push using LinkedIn to recruit people, and it pushes people that are on LinkedIn to find jobs on LinkedIn. It's really been pushed really hard during lockdown. They've even been putting ads on TV about using LinkedIn to find your next job. So yeah, a lot of people do use LinkedIn for recruitment. And in fact, LinkedIn actually encourages you to build your profile like your CV, so that you've got this extended CV on the net for people to be able to find you. But the great thing about that is it's stuffed full of keywords, which means for you as a business owner, you are able to find the people you want to connect with based on keywords in their profile, so you can connect with them and potentially sell to them at some stage. So it's really great for you that LinkedIn does this. But you know, yes, they do make a lot of money out of recruitment, but it's not just for recruitment. The recruitment angle makes it really powerful for you as a business owner to be able to drive your business using LinkedIn. So that's that myth exploded. And the third myth is that it's just for keeping in touch with former colleagues or friends you went to college with or whatever. Yep, it is. LinkedIn encourages you to connect with your old school and uni friends, and it encourages you to connect with former colleagues. It will always suggest other people that have worked at the same businesses as you've worked at. I would suggest you also want to connect with all of your customers, because in amongst all of these connections you're developing, particularly with the customers will be connected to other people in the same line of business as them, because they'll be connecting to former colleagues and former workmates. And if you're connected to your customers, the chances are they will be connected to other people doing the same job in other companies. And if you've got a great customer, you want to find similar people in other companies for you to be able to sell to. So they'll be second-tier connections. You can automatically send them connection requests and connect to them. So it's a really great thing that people keep in touch with each other, because that's what provides your second and third-tier connections and enables you to find more people just like your best customers, and they could be your next best customer. So that's that myth exploded. It's not just for keeping in touch, but keeping in touch is a great way for you as a small business owner to actually find the right people to connect with and to sell to. So before we actually get into the meat of the LinkedIn ladder, is your marketing really working for you? So you've got a great product or great service, and you're getting it out there on an email list, or you're pumping it out on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and you even create this great offer of 50% off. But what's happening is your sales are still below the target you want. So you're pumping out all of these sales messages through email and social media, and you're not getting the sales that you want. Why the hell is that? Well, that's what the ladder of awareness is all about. Because in reality, only a very small percentage of the people you're sending marketing messages to are ready to buy when they see your messages. It's typically less than 5% of the people you're sending messages to are ready to buy from you. In fact, a large proportion of the people you're sending those marketing messages to don't even realize they need what you sell. They don't realize that they need what you have to offer to them. And the ladder of awareness is all about taking people from that bottom rung of the ladder, being unaware of a need, right the way up to the top of being ready to buy and to being ready to buy from you. So you need to tell them, make them aware of the problem that they have, or the need that they have, or the desire that they have. You need to make them aware that there are solutions out there that can satisfy that need, that problem, that desire. And then you need to make them aware of your solutions, because your solutions are the best thing since sliced bread, and they're definitely what they need, so that you can get them and convince them that you are the right one to buy from. Your solution is the right one from them, and then they're ready to buy. And the great thing is that LinkedIn can do all of that for you. Yeah. So we're going to take people up the LinkedIn, up the ladder through LinkedIn. So we're going to use LinkedIn to make them aware when they're unaware of the need. We're going to Make them aware of that problem. We're going to make them aware of the solutions that are out there. We're going to make them aware of your solutions. We're going to use LinkedIn to make make them want your solutions because they've seen your recommendations, they've seen your expertise. And when they're ready to buy from you, they will ask for you to sell to them. You won't need to actually sell to them. They will want to buy from you if you get this right. So let's look at this. Before we look at this in detail, we've got to make a couple of assumptions. First of all, you need to have a powerful personal profile. So if you don't have a powerful personal profile, when you try and use LinkedIn to help people climb the ladder of awareness, you're not going to have any credibility behind you. You really need to have a powerful profile. We'll explain the sections that you need to help them do this. So you've got to have that powerful profile, and that means you've got to have a great photo, you've got to have a great headline, and you've got to have a supporting banner image in the rear there. So those are really, really important. You've got to have this powerful personal profile to be able to do that. And the next part of that personal profile that you really need to have in place is a great about section. This is the section just under your headings of your profile. And it's the first thing they see after they start to scroll down your profile. And they only usually see the first 2 or 3 lines, and then they have to click the more. So it's really got to engage with them. It's got to be all about with him. What's in it for me? And when I say me, I mean me, the reader of your profile, not you, the owner of the profile. Your profile, yes, it's sort of about you, but it actually needs to be written for your potential client or written for your potential customer. So it's got to be packed with real information and value to your potential customer. You've got to talk about your client's pain or desire or problem that you're solving. And that's got to be in that first part of your about section. You've got to talk about what you bring to the table to be able to solve that pain, solve that problem. And then you need to be able to demonstrate your expertise with reference to recommendations and stuff like that. And as I say, you'll only see the first few lines of this. So those first few lines need to be high impact. The thing that I see so many times with people in their about section is they lead off with, I've been in business for 25 years, so I know what I'm talking about. That's the last thing a potential client wants to read, yeah? Because it's not about them. You know, you might have been in business for 25 years. That doesn't mean you're successful in business. It doesn't mean you can answer my problems. It doesn't mean you can solve my challenges. So talk about their problems, their challenges in those first few lines. You've got to hook them in to read the rest. You can bring out your experience later on when you're showing them how you solve their problems. But you've got to really hook them in with that powerful personal profile and that first couple of lines of that section. The second assumption is that you know your target market. Yeah, because if you don't know your target market and have a detailed customer avatar, and this is one of my old customer avatars from my project management days, I wrote a detailed description of Fred, the aspiring project manager that was going to buy my online training programs for project management. And I'd written out at the bottom half here all the blocks that would stop him from buying my product and where I was going to get the information to him to actually overcome those blocks. And these were really useful tools to help me write the content that was going to drive my messaging to him. So you really have to understand who they are in absolute detail. Yeah, right down to thinking about, okay, what car does he drive? Where does he go on holiday? Because until you get that clear understanding of who they are in your mind, you won't know where they hang out. You've got to understand their pains and desires, what's stopping them from achieving what they want in life or in their business or whatever. And you've got to know what they don't know. Yeah, you're blessed with the knowledge of your information about your business and the things that you can do for them. And you've got to find a way of actually getting that across to them and answering the questions they haven't even thought to ask yet. And it's all in the detail of really understanding the customer avatar. And when you get that understanding of them, you'll know where they hang out. So they might not necessarily be on LinkedIn looking to buy. But as I said, LinkedIn is a place they'll be because they will come there and check you out. So you might be driving traffic from other social media platforms to go look at your LinkedIn profile because that's the places you're going to put the messages out there to entice them to come and look at your profile and see what you can do for them. So it's really, really important that you understand who your market is. So first stage of getting people up the ladder is to make them aware of the need, make them aware of the problem. And you do that through using your profile, obviously. So which sections of your profile? Well, if you look at your headline, you can do a lot of that in the first few words you use in your profile headline. So do you want more business from LinkedIn? So I've identified that a need that some people are saying, well, I'm using LinkedIn, but I'm not getting business from it. You know, if you look at my profile and you say, well, I'm actually getting great, I use LinkedIn and I get loads of business from LinkedIn. Great, fine, get on with it. You're doing really well. Well done. You probably don't want to connect with me. You probably don't need my services. But if you're thinking, perhaps I'm not getting what I need to from LinkedIn, this is appealing to the people straight away. I'm identifying with their pain. I'm making them aware that actually LinkedIn is there and they could be getting more from it. They may be using LinkedIn and thinking it's just like keeping in touch with people, but this is making them aware there's more to LinkedIn than that. They can get business from LinkedIn. So I'm using my headline just to do that. Then in the about section, as I talked about just now, opening up there and making sure that you're talking to their pains, talking to their problems, making them aware of the problems. Yeah, I'm mentioning here the all-star profile issue. Yes, I'm making them aware that they might have an all-star profile, but it won't necessarily lead them to getting business from LinkedIn. And then I'm using my experience section again to talk about wanting what they want to get out of using LinkedIn. So it's a great way of actually making people aware that there is this need or this problem that I can help them solve. And then in my activity, I'll write posts and articles. I wrote a couple of posts about this session, and that helped raise the awareness of the session and raise the awareness of the need in amongst all of you and many other people out there. So your posts and articles can actually get out there and help to start make people aware of this need that they want to satisfy or they need satisfied. And in your comments, and then on the redirects from other platforms. So as I said to you before, you might be knowing where your customers hang out. They might be on Facebook, they might be on Instagram, they might be on Pinterest. If you put stuff out there about those needs and then redirect them to your posts, to your articles, to the sections of your profile that explain that need, you're really getting them to be aware of this problem and that there is a solution potentially out there. Okay, so that's the first rung or two of the ladder, getting them to be aware of the problem and explaining in some detail the problem. And in doing this, you're already starting to build your credibility, because you're talking from a position of authority about knowing what their pains are, knowing what their desires are, knowing what they want to achieve is. So you're already starting to build that credibility and that trust with them. The next stage is creating awareness of solutions. Now, you can do that through activity. You can use your posts or pulse articles to do reviews of solutions, to do comparisons, to talk about the top problems, the top tips. You can use infographics. So you can then use comments and demonstrate your knowledge of the market by commenting on other people's posts. So here's an infographic, and I've sort of created this image as a composite of bits of the post. But somebody had posted about which platforms to use for what type of thing in social media. And then so I read this and thought, yeah, there's some interesting and useful points in there, and in general they're right, but they were missing the point about knowing the customer avatar and where does the customer hang out. And they also missed the point on LinkedIn, which is that people will check you out on LinkedIn, whether they're on there to buy or on there to research. They will check you out on LinkedIn. So I added my experience and my expertise into that post by commenting on it. And that's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able, you could create this sort of infographic type thing as the article that shows comparisons of solutions. You need to make sure that your solution or delivery of your solution is mentioned in there as well. But then you can comment on other people's posts to bring out your expertise, highlight your expertise, and demonstrate that you do know what you're talking about, in what they're looking for. So it's really valuable to do it that way. And then on your profile, in your experience section, you can demonstrate your depth of knowledge through the things you put in your experience section, and explain to your potential clients that you really do know what you're talking about in your marketplace.
Alan?
Yeah.
Just a very quick question on demonstrating your expertise and commenting on other people's posts. What's the easiest way to find those posts rather than sitting on social media for the rest of your day and trawling through it? What's the easiest way to find and comment on those posts?
Right. So if you're following people in the same field as you, or you're connected to people in the same field as you, their posts should start appearing in your notifications. You'll also be using a variety of hashtags in posts. If people are posting on LinkedIn and they're doing it well, they will be using anything from 3 to 11 relevant hashtags. 11 in my book's a bit too many, but yeah, they'll be using a series of hashtags. So you need to research which hashtags on LinkedIn are relevant to your business so that you can find the posts for those hashtags. And if you follow those hashtags, again, you'll get notification in your notification streams when people are putting posts out about those hashtags. So I always follow things like LinkedIn tips and LinkedIn marketing. So I get notifications when anyone puts a post out, we're using that hashtag. So I can go in there, see what anybody else is saying about LinkedIn tips or LinkedIn marketing, and then I can add my experience into onto that post stream. I try to avoid being argumentative. If the person is saying something I think is blatantly wrong, I might just go on there and say I disagree with that, but I wouldn't try and start a debate or an argument on LinkedIn or any social media platform for that matter, because once you start an argument, you're never going to win, because it'll go just backwards and forwards and it'll be just a real time suck. So I always try and add value to the post rather than argue with the post. So you need to think really long and hard about how you do that. And that's one of the things we talk about often in the Linked Business Mastermind. We talk about how to respond to posts, how to engage people with posts, and how to build that and demonstrate your expertise in there. Does that answer your question, Andy?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Alan.
Brilliant. Thanks. Right. So yes, so creating awareness of your solutions. So on your activity, you need to put posts and articles out about case studies of things you've done for clients, things you've delivered. You want to put out, for example, LinkedIn Ladder of Awareness. I put a post out about that and demonstrate my solutions. Then links in your featured section. So just beneath your profile about section, you'll find your featured section. If you haven't got this section, it's easy to add in, and we can jump on and a call and I can show you how to do that. And you can put in there details of your products, your services. So you can see there my 45-minute profile improver, my Link Business Mastermind. They're in my featured section, so they're prominent when anyone ever goes to my profile. You can add in direct messages. You can send direct messages to people. So if you've been engaging with them, they've been reading your content, they've been messaging you on LinkedIn, they've been commenting on your posts. When you feel the time is right, you can send them a direct message to talk about what you do. And I would advocate you don't send them a direct message to sell to them. I'd say the best thing to do is arrange a conversation with them. And a great way of doing that, if you're using your mobile phone to connect and to send messages, on your mobile phone, you can quickly record a little video message to send to them. People get very few video messages, so they're bound to listen to it, and it's much more engaging. And in a 60-second video message, you can explain to somebody, hey, we've been talking for a few weeks now. I've seen you've been commenting on my posts, and I'm really interested in finding out more about your business. Why don't we jump on a one-to-one? There's a link in the message box underneath this video message. We'd love to have a more detailed chat with you. I bet you that anyone getting that sort of message from you on a video message will book that one-to-one. Then in the one-to-one, you can find out more about their business. You can have a conversation with them about your business, and you can move them to the next stage of potentially buying from you, because you're going to make them even more aware of your solutions. And you're going to find out in that conversation whether they really actually have a need for your solutions. And if you get that conversation right, they'll actually say, can I book this, or can I book that, or can I do this with you? Because they'll, you know, if you get those messagings right, they'll bite. They'll really want it. You could run events like this event now. It's a great way of actually getting a bunch of people that are potentially in your target market that might want to buy from you. So, you know, running events like this, particularly if you run them on LinkedIn, you can send invites to your connections to join the meeting. A lot of you joined because I sent you a message from the event page inviting you to the event. So, you know, it's a great way of actually getting part of your community together to talk to them about what you do and how you can meet their problems. And on your profile, in your about section, you can talk about the products and the solutions that you have. And in your experience section, again, you can add into your experience section videos, you can add in documents, slideshows, all explaining what I've got somebody who's not on mute. So if I could ask you to mute, please. Thank you. So yeah, there you can see on my experience section, I've added in some stuff around my 45-minute profile improvers and the Link Business Mastermind. So people can click straight through from that, find out more information about the product. So I'm making people aware of the solutions that I have for their problem. All of it on the one LinkedIn profile. And also your recommendations as well. People will check, when they check you out, they'll read some of your recommendations. And so they'll look at the recommendations you have. And so there's one of my recent recommendations from Nikki. And she's joined, she's become a member of my Link Business Mastermind. And that will tell people a little more about why she joined. So it's a great way of actually getting people aware of your solutions. And you know what other people say about you is always far more important than what you say about yourself. So do check out people's recommendations, because you'll get a real understanding of what it's like to work with them. So they need now to be ready to buy from you. So you've in your activity, your direct messages you've been sending, you've been getting referrals from people that have maybe said, oh, you need to talk to so-and-so, and they've connected you together on LinkedIn by directly messaging you both. And on your profile, you've got recommendations, you've got case studies attached to your experience section or in your featured section. And so, you know, you're doing all the right things, making people aware of the solutions. And if you, as I said, if you get this right, then people will ask to buy from you. You don't have to do the selling. And you know, there's an old saying in marketing: if you do the hard work in marketing, it makes the selling easy, because people don't actually need to be sold to. You've already convinced them. If your marketing is right, if you know your customer avatar really well, you've answered all of the questions they might have, all of the objections they might have from buying from you. You've answered in your posts or in your social media stuff that you've put out there, the comments you've made on other people's posts. You've answered all those objections, so there's no objections left for them to say, I don't want to buy this. So you know, if they have that need and you've managed to convince them that that need is important to them and that they need to solve it, it should be straightforward for them to turn around and say, actually, I really want what you've got to sell. Please, can we set up a call to talk about it? It's really that simple. So you need to have some engagement strategies. Yeah, you need to think about how you're going to engage with your market to be able to actually take them up the ladder of awareness. So you need to be publishing valuable content. Yeah, the people that go onto LinkedIn and just send out sales messages or are asking for business all the time are the people that don't get anything from LinkedIn. I've got and it's true of all social media platforms. I've got on Facebook, I've got a group for the Guildford Hub. And I've got quite a wide variety of businesses are connected to that Facebook group. There's one guy on there, he's an architect, and he just keeps putting up the same message every week, which is, buy my architectural services, have a free call or whatever, the same message every week, and nobody ever engages with that message. The only person to engage with that message is me when I've messaged him to say, are you really getting anything from this? Should you really be thinking about doing something different? And somebody else commented on my comment saying, yeah, typical salesperson or typical pitch person trying to pitch into the group. And they just don't get it. And that's what you need to avoid on LinkedIn. Don't continually be pitching your stuff on LinkedIn, because people will get switched off and they'll ignore your messages. So you need to publish valuable content that's going to be of use to your market. It's going to advise, guide, support, help your potential clients. You need to be commenting on other people's content. Yeah. If you just put stuff out on LinkedIn and only respond to comments on your stuff, you're missing half of the story on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn will actually downgrade their algorithm will downgrade your performance, because they're looking for you to engage with the rest of the community, and that means commenting on other people's posts. So it's a great opportunity for you to be able to support other people, either with your expertise or by just giving. Yeah, there's a great saying in networking that givers gain. The more you give to others, the more you help others, the more they will be inclined to do the same back for you. And the more other people seeing you help others, the more they will be responsive to you. So, go and find other people's posts and help by just making valuable comments on there. So I think Kim is on the call today. He's a first aid trainer. Kim puts out posts around first aid, and whenever I get the chance, I will go in and comment on Kim's first aid posts. And if he hasn't mentioned it, I will talk about how good they are, because I've been on one of his training courses, but also how flexible he is in terms of arranging the courses around when you need the course delivered, rather than saying, well, I do it Friday afternoons or Thursday mornings, and that's it. He will arrange a course around when you are available to run to partake in the course. And that's, I'm not demonstrating my expertise there, but I am demonstrating givers gain. And I get a lot of positive support back from everybody because I do that sort of thing. And you need to have that attitude as well. So comment on other people's content and be an active listener. When I say that, I mean, listen to what your market is saying and respond to answer their questions, to answer their problems. Don't listen to just find an opportunity to sell or to pitch. Listen to find out what the problems are and see if you can help them solve those problems, and not necessarily by pitching to them. You'll be a much better business person if you do that. So if you end up in a one-to-one with somebody and you're talking about each other's businesses, don't listen for the opportunity to pitch your business at their problem. Listen for the opportunity to help them solve the problem in their own way. So avoid the pitching again. It's all about being an active listener.
Alan,
finally, always be thinking about what is in it for the prospect. Yeah, you've got to be giving the prospect something they need, solving some problem they have. What is it that they need from you, and what can you give them to be supportive and to be helpful? So that's really, really important. Ali, you raised your hand there. Can I? Do you want to ask a question?
Yes, I've just got. What amount of time do you think you should realistically build into your day just to kind of attend to LinkedIn, to keeping your presence, to tuning into what others want, just to kind of managing your LinkedIn and using it effectively? Because that is something I'm struggling with, but clearly I've got to kind of allocate, I think, a regular set slot.
Yeah, I think it's all about showing up on a consistent basis, Ali. And how much you have to show up will depend on how many of your potential clients are on LinkedIn. And if all of I get most of my business through LinkedIn, so I'm on LinkedIn quite a lot, on and off all day. But for someone like yourself, you're a homeopath. You're probably you want to make people aware of your solutions through LinkedIn, but it's probably not the natural place for you to find clients, if you will. It's more about demonstrating your expertise and demonstrating your credibility, getting people to recommend you on there to help you build that trust, that credibility. So for you, I would say if you're putting a post out once a week, that would be great. And if you're dipping into LinkedIn, maybe 10 or 15 minutes a day, just to make sure you're answering any questions, and following the right hashtags and commenting on people's posts against those hashtags. Yeah, you can do that in sort of like a 15-minute a day slot. When I was running my project management consultancy business, I would spend most of my day working on site for clients. So my LinkedIn activity was first thing in the morning on the train on the way up, and last thing at night when I finished scanning through the Evening Standard on the way home, or back at the hotel if I was in Edinburgh or Oslo or wherever. So I would only be spending sort of 15-20 minutes morning and evening on LinkedIn, and spending a little bit of time once or twice a week to create the post I was going to put out. But it didn't take a huge amount of time for me to grow a substantial network, make connections all around the world on LinkedIn around project management, and draw quite a few clients in and get a lot of repeat business through it. So it depends on where your market is, and that's why understanding your target market is really, really important, because that will help drive how much time you spend on LinkedIn.
Okay, thank you.
No problem at all. Anybody else have any questions they want to raise? Well, we'll go into a more detailed question session in a moment. So, yeah, I've told you that there's these problems out there that you can solve them with LinkedIn. So obviously I have some LinkedIn solutions that can help you. So what are my solutions for you? Well, I have my 45-minute profile improver. This is where it's a 45-minute one-to-one on your profile. We'll go through your profile in some detail. We'll go through each section. I will have pre-prepared. I will have gone through your profile beforehand, and I've made my notes. I will have asked you already to tell me what you're looking to achieve from LinkedIn. So we'll be going through and stepping through your profile. It will, on each of the sections, I'll give you some content advice and some tips and tricks. We may even reword some of the bits and pieces on the call, depending on how much time we have on particular sections. All of it's recorded. You get the recording afterwards so that you can replay it time and time again. And you can book your session here. Now, it's very difficult for you to see that link or use that link. You can't. So there's a QR code. And if you open the camera on your phone and you come up to the screen and focus on the QR code, it will take you to a web link where you can book your 45-minute and £45 session. So yeah, so it's £45 to get you that session. I will repeat these QR codes right at the very end. So that's the 45-minute profile improver. Link Business Mastermind I've talked about, where we have weekly mastermind calls, 12 o'clock every Friday. And in those calls, I will answer any questions you have on how you're using LinkedIn, whether that's how to approach a particular conversation, whether it's how to do something specific, where to put stuff, comments on people's posts, comments on people's tweaks to their profile, all that sort of stuff. Very happy to do. There's a support group on LinkedIn. We have 2 posting challenges per month. If you don't want to join Mastermind, you just want to take part in a posting challenge, it's £20 plus Eventbrite fees. The next one's tomorrow. Again, we've got a QR code link to the Eventbrite page if you want to sign up for that. So you can take scan that with your camera. Again, these images will be up at the end. We also have masterclasses we've run one on company pages. We're going to do another one on Sales Navigator, all sorts of other things. And as I said, we're developing this real style profile assessment to tell you how your LinkedIn profile really does the job for your business. I'm going to be doing podcast interviews with members, and you will get access to my online LinkedIn mastery program after you've been a member for 3 months. Both of those are after people have been members for 3 months. Membership of the mastermind is £37 a month. Since we do 2 challenges a month, if you're interested just in the challenges, it's still better to become a mastermind member because it's cheaper than paying them the individual fees. So you can come and join me for that. And these are the QR codes. So you can connect with me using the QR code on the left. There's the QR code for the 45 minutes profile improver, the QR code for tomorrow's challenge. And if you want to find more information about a Link Business Mastermind, which is at £37 a month, there's a QR code there to take you to post on LinkedIn about that. So you can get those codes. I will put the links in the chat if you, in case you don't like using QR codes or you don't use your mobile phone for this sort of thing. And so I'll put the links in the chat now. I'll just copy them in there. Need to move some other things out of the way first. So does anyone have any questions for me? But very happy to take questions. Let's mute.
Yes, Alan, but I don't think we can do it now. Basically, I've tried to work the referral testimonial didn't work because I need some help with that.
Yep, well, you're a mastermind member, Claudine, so we can talk about that on the next call. Yeah. Brilliant.
Just a brief question about getting customer recommendations.
Yep.
One customer we seem to be building a very good working relationship with in Leeds. A bit reticent about giving a recommendation in which they're identified because they don't want to give away to the competition what they're doing. Right.
Okay. Yeah, that can be a problem. In those circumstances, they're not going to give you a recommendation on LinkedIn. But what you could do is ask them to give you a recommendation as if it was on LinkedIn, and just quote them as business owner in Leeds or business owner in North of England, and then paste that into either paste the image of it into a post on LinkedIn or as a link on LinkedIn into your experience section, and then just refer to snippets of the quote in your about section.
Okay. All right.
I've got a question.
Yeah, Sheila.
Yes, it's everything you're talking about so far, and I apologise. I made it by the skin of my teeth.
Well done.
I had to break the speed limit a couple of times, but please don't tell anybody. Yeah, this is all about your personal profile. We're not talking about a business page here.
Well, part of having a great personal profile is making sure that it's linked to an effective company presence as well. Right. So company pages, I ran a session on company pages last year. Link Business Mastermind members have access to that session on company pages. There's been a lot happening on company pages. LinkedIn are making company pages much more effective. So I'll probably be rerunning that session with some extra stuff in it. So watch out for that, but that will probably be a paid for session because it will be a masterclass for Linked Business Mastermind members.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Right, well, in that case, I will call this, bring this to a close. I will put the recording up onto my Linked Business Mastermind, the Linked Business YouTube channel, and everyone will get sent a message. I will put the link into the event page, so you'll be able to see it from the event page, but I will try and message everybody as well. Thanks for turning up. Thanks for your questions, and do get in touch if I can help in any way. Have a good rest of the day. Cheerio now.
Thank you, Alan. Bye.
Thank you, Alan. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye, everyone.
Bye.